After a brand new World Championship Series came to the Dirt Road License ladder, it's time for an all-new event. With the new season of the Virtual Off-Road Racing Series Pro 4 Championship on the horizon, let's go racing in a brand new event head-to-head. Welcome to the Virtual Off-Road Racing Series Bracket Challenge live on Racecraft TV. Happy that all of you could join us on this beautiful evening. Wherever you're tuning in around the world, we welcome you to Racecraft TV. We're alongside Evan Basoko. My name is Joshua Lee. And Evan, this season of the World Championship was one of the best that we could have asked for. It went all the way down to the final race for Connor Berry to be crowned the champion. And now he sits as #1 seed for this new event, which has never been tried to my knowledge in the iRacing service, taking 2 Pro 4s and running them in a bracket-style tournament.
Yeah, it's not going to be anywhere close to the first time we've seen these Pro 4s at the big house, right? But the format tonight's going to be the big focus. Normally, at a racetrack like this, we're talking about the land rush. We're talking about 10 trucks side by side off to the barn turn for the first time. You might have to be a little bit more methodical, a little bit more surgical, as it is head-to-head tonight. And you're also going to need to pace yourself, right? How hard do you need to push if you're one of those higher seeds early in the night to be able to advance through those rounds and eventually make it all the way to the racing championship?
And you can take a look at the format that we have tonight. Of course, 16 drivers have qualified into this bracket, and they will compete in head-to-head matchups in the bracket-style elimination tournament. And each race will consist of 2 laps. 2 laps to decide the winner. They will do a traditional land rush start, and they will finish at the traditional start-finish line as well. Let's take a look. First look at this bracket, and a little bit of a change. Seed 16 was originally one driver, then it got changed to Tyler Menninga, who couldn't make it tonight. So now Jason Bryant is going to take that 16th and final seed. We'll be going up against the top seed, Connor Berry, with Jamie Dunn, Nicholas Wellhouse, Crystal King, Aiden Irvine, Josh Edmondson, Cohen Adder, Keaton Swain, Danny Aish, Nicholas Dashley, Nathan Matoxin, Josh Fox, John Binder, Tom Grady, and Paul Mikolajczyk, all taking part in the bracket challenge tonight. And of course, Evan, not only are these guys going to go racing for a bit of bragging rights, but they're also going to go racing for some prizes, with the Best Pass Award with Shenandoah Shine, the Best Battle Award with AMX iRacing, the Grass Cutter Award with Just a Trim Lawn Service, and the Best Paint Award powered by Fitz Photos.
Yeah, obviously everybody wants to be the one on top at the end of this bracket championship, but all of those additional awards mean that each of those head-to-head matchups tonight is going to be exciting. Obviously, the action on the racetrack is going to be great, but we'll be keeping an eye to see who's going to walk away with a little bit of those extra prizes. And there was some discussion as well a little bit earlier tonight during the practice, during the warm-up, you know, where we're going to get a whole 16 truck field. If somebody is unable to compete in their round 1 race, that driver that they would be facing would get a bye to the next round, but it looks like it might just be a full field ready to go racing tonight at the big house. So it really should be an exciting one. You talk about this coming on the heels of the World Championship and ahead of a lot more things coming up later this year with the Virtual Off-Road Racing Series. And this should be a fun first-time event and should be a good show as we race our way from 16 down to 1.
What do you say we get started with tonight's proceedings? We'll get started in the bracket with your #1 seed and the number 16 seed. This is Connor Berry and Jason Bryant that are getting ready to go racing. And you can see the next matchup getting ready in the background. That's Keaton Swain versus Danny Aish, the 2nd and 15th seed in the bracket. The winner of this race will face either Jamie Dunn or Nicholas Wellhouse in the first race of round number 2. And we'll see who will walk away with this win. Of course, Connor Berry, the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series champion, first of its kind. Jason Bryant looking to try and make it to round number 2. The revs will build, and we'll get ready to send these drivers off and away, as it looks like a bit of an issue getting started here. Where they are is right at the edge of the dirt in the land rush, and it looks like Barry's off and away. And it looks like this race will get started with Connor Berry, a pretty substantial lead over Jason Bryant, which Connor Berry, we know he's the champion and he is the one to beat when it comes to anything on dirt, and especially these Pro 4 trucks. And I think even without the issues off the start with Jason Bryant, it would have been kind of Connor Berry's race to lose.
Yeah, you saw Jason Bryant flinch on the line, right? Jason was correct. The green flag was out at that point, and Connor, in fact, was the one who didn't know about it. So Jason had kind of second-guessed himself. He backed back up into the starting box, and as you see, Connor Berry now come across the start-finish line for the first time and officially begin lap number 1 of this first head-to-head matchup. Then Connor Berry fired off. So a big missed opportunity for Bryant, because he was right when he went early, backed it up, he was confused, and then Connor Berry put the pedal to the metal, and Berry's already working down that long straightaway run from 3 down to the hairpin in turn number 4, which is right alongside where that land rush start happens. And there's Jason Bryant way back in 3. That's a significant gap between the two of them.
Bryant got a long way to try and catch up here, and of course Connor Berry pulling away now down the back straightaway and through the championship series. It was really Connor Berry kind of getting a bit of a slow start. He didn't really log those wins in until about middle of the way through the calendar. Then he really started to get those victories and walked away with the championship over Keaton Swain. And the way the bracket worked out with Connor Berry and Keaton Swain, top 2 in the championship, top 2 seeds as well in this bracket. Possibility they could go head-to-head in what would be an historic final round race for the first ever virtual off-road racing series bracket challenge, seeing the top 2 in the championship going head-to-head as Connor Berry takes the white flag.
Yeah, that's the good thing about this bracket, right, is we're not going to see 1 versus 2 until a possible championship matchup if both Berry and Swain were able to advance. Obviously, 1 through 16 in this race. We'll watch Keaton Swain go up against Danny Aish in the next race, right? Your number 2 to the number 15 seed. Standard bracket procedures, and as you're on board, look with Jason Bryant again. It really does not have a hope in the dark here unless Connor Berry were to roll that truck over. So I think it's just cruise control for both of these drivers, and an unfortunate missed opportunity in that battle. But for Connor Berry up front, listen, this is what he wanted to do no matter what, right? Expected to win this race, coming in as the number 1 seed, and as he sees the event, I'm sure he doesn't have a ton of nerves, but getting a nice easy one here out of the way if he can make it for these final 3 corners, I think will kind of get him a little bit more comfortable as he looks to advance to round 2.
And definitely think at least Connor Berry having a little bit in the back of his mind with this brand new format, never done before, that he needs to come out here and perform. He is the driver that the other ones are trying to beat as he goes up and over the final jump and through the final corner. It will be relatively walk-off victory for Connor Berry in the 2, and he will be your winner of round 1, race 1 from Virtual Crandon. And Jason Bryant gets ready to come across the line as well. He will be eliminated from the bracket. So this will put Connor Berry through into the second round of the evening. And now we get ready for the top right of that bracket. Keaton Swain going up ahead against Danny Aish. Now, the lane choice for these races is determined by the higher seed number here in round number 1. So Keaton Swain able to choose the lane that he wanted to start in, and he chose that far left lane. And it looks like another issue with the start. Danny Aish going, Keaton Swain not. Now Swain is going to go, and Danny Aish going to time it at about the same time as Swain and Aish go into turn number 1. Keaton Swain going to try and cover him off. That left lane choice for him with the higher seed qualifying second. He will get the lead over Aish, but here comes the Australian FMX rider. He's right on the back bumper of the 21. Can he get by him? This is already closer than we saw that first race of the evening.
And that one started very similar, right? Danny Ace started to go and then checked up. He was correct. The green was out. And because he did not see his competitor in Keaton Swain go, he checked up a little bit. And because of that, you've essentially handed a small advantage to Keaton Swain. That is not somebody who I think you're going to be able to get away with a bad start again. So lap number 1 now officially in the works. They're going to go through the sweeping left-hand turn 1, the right-hand turn number 2, and then as they downshift to about 40 miles an hour, left-hand here to line them up off of 3 for that long straightaway down to 4, and already Swain pulling significantly on the gap between those two after they were out of the first turn.
And trying to keep it close is Danny Ace behind it. He's doing a relatively good job. He's not letting Keaton Swain get too terribly far away, but we know just how quick that number 21 can be. And Danny Ace, on a normal night, is also very, very quick. I mean, in the virtual off-road racing series, whether it's Pro 2s, whether it's Pro 4s, we've seen him in hill climbs, we've seen him in rallycross. He can be a contender, but especially against now these off-road world championship competitors. I mean, Danny Ace, A-class license, 3,700 I rating, not even close to Keaton Swain's 8,268 I rating in the world championship license class. So when Danny Ace is normally a driver in the mid-pack, that's great. He logs in a great amount of points. We don't have 20-plus drivers racing in these races. It is one-on-one, and Keaton Swain, as he takes the white flag, is showing that he is going to be the class of the field.
It was hard to tell kind of what we saw out of that first matchup with Connor Berry and company, right? But Connor's lap times were very consistent, 1:17.5 and 1:17.3 as he raced to victory lane in the first of our head-to-head matchups. So what's Keaton Swain doing right now? Well, a 1:17.2 was his opening lap of the race. So that lap was quicker than both of the race laps that we saw to Connor Berry. Again, I think both of these drivers have a little bit more than that left. Neither of them have been facing any crazy pressure, having got the whole shot on those standing starts. But just to kind of give you a ballpark, watch those times. Low 17s is where these top two are when they're on cruise control.
Keaton Swain through the final corner and heads over the jump, and we'll go into the hairpin that we saw a lot of passes be made before here from the virtual big house. And Swain works his way out of that over the Polaris RZR bridge and will take the checkered flag and be your winner of the second race of round number 1. Qualified in second, and he is going to walk away with the victory here. Danny Ace is going to come home across the line. He will unfortunately be eliminated, but with that, we move forward in the bracket. Now, Connor Berry's through to round 2. Keaton Swain is through to round 2, and we will get ready for the third race of round number 1. And Nicholas Wellhouse will earn a bye into the next round. So we're going to line up with our third race, which would have been the fourth. It is Nicholas Dashley versus Nathan Matoxin. Dashley 7th seed, Matoxin 10th seed. Dashley getting the lane choice for this one. And both of them off at about the same time, racing down into turn number 1. And that will be Nicholas Dashley with the higher seed on the inside line. Can he make it work? The crossover move coming out from the 19 already, as they'll stay relatively close together and almost touching as they go over the jump for the first time.
Oh, and a little bit wide that time, and a left-hand sweeper, turn number 6 by Dashley, but Toxin to the inside, comes down on top of Dashley's truck, and it about sent the 19 off the racetrack. And after it was all the momentum in the world for Matoxin, that tricky landing now gives a big boost, and Dashley coming to the start of lap number 1 and 2 has an advantage of about 4 truck lengths. Remember, these two racing, Dashley the number 7 seed, Matoxin the number 10, so pretty evenly ranked. But I wonder if that little slip up, again, 2 laps at Crandon, not a ton of time, despite the fact that it's one of the bigger tracks at 1.75 miles, and you saw it there on board as well. A little bit of over rotation from Nathan Matoxin, and that has allowed Dashley to pull away here a little bit.
And number 23 looking fast at the front now. Of course, Nicholas Dachelet, another one of the drivers that competed in the Off-Road Championship Series, and you can see the Legion Speed Sport colors on that number 23 as well. He'll get a good gap over Nathan Metoxen, and this is kind of the nature of a bracket, and we see it in March Madness. I mean, Evan, you and me very familiar with the way Monster Jam Racing works, and that round number 1, especially with the way the qualifying seeds work out, you're really going to have the higher seed kind of be controlling the race, and unless something miraculous happens, that lower seed is, of course, almost always going to end up losing. It's once we get into round 2, the semifinals, especially the finals, that we're really going to see these races get close, and it might come down to the simplest of mistakes that will give us a winner to move through.
Well, as I mentioned, cruise control, right? The 117.2s, the 117.3s for some of these drivers. I think there's more in the tank because you're right. Round 1 is, in theory, going to be heavily weighted in favor of those higher seeds. Now, in a matchup like this with a 7 and a 10, it would be a lot more competitive. And I think that, again, this one came down to not the whole shot, which has been the case in the other 2 matchups, but just that little bit of an unfortunate landing from a toxic, a couple of beats of, over driving the truck, try to catch back up. But in your 1s and 16s, your 2 and 15s, those higher seeds should on paper and in practice be much quicker. It really comes down to round 1 is you just don't make a mistake. All you're looking for in this round is to get a clean pass in. And if you come in as the number 1 seed or you get the whole shot, a clean pass should be enough. And we're looking to see if Dachelet can close this one out coming through turn 6.
Taking a look at Nathan Metoxen, who tries to catch up, but it's just not going to be enough as Nicholas Dachelet is going to look to walk away and into round number 2. Third race of round number 1. We mentioned the bye for Nicholas Wellhouse. Jamie Dunn, unfortunately, not being able to take the green flag, so that will push Nicholas Wellhouse through and into the second round. He'll be facing Connor Berry, however, so it's not quite easy enough once he gets into round 2, but Nicholas Dachelet is going to walk away with the win here in the third race of round number 1 and give that spot in the second round to Nicholas Dachelet. As we grab a look at the bracket one final time before we continue to move on. 4 names into round number 2, and this next race is only going to get even more interesting. 4th seed, Crystal King, choosing the right lane, the inside lane, hitting through the right-hander of turn 1 off the land rush. 13th seed, Aiden Irvine, is going to be her opponent, and we go racing, and still side by side between King and Irvine as we race in race number 4 of round number 1. Irvine outside, King on the inside. Factory Simsport colors for Crystal King, and she is going to take the lead in this race.
And I like that call to take the inside line. I struggled with the outside last weekend in the Bragging Rights Invitational. You're just going to get pushed wide. If it's 16 trucks, if it's 2 trucks, you just can't afford to allow somebody to get underneath you and establish that positioning. And it certainly helped Crystal that she had the better jump too. So quickly clear of Irvin and then maintains that position. But the 259 truck is not intending on backing down. It's the closest margin we've seen tonight as we race 4 seed versus 11 seed. Contact as lap number 1 gets underway.
Crystal King with the 4th fastest time in qualifying was not a shock to me. She became the first ever woman to compete in an iRacing World Championship Series when she competed in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series this summer, and she is controlling this race right now. Aiden Irvine, no slouch either. He is used to these off-road trucks. We've seen him in many years of virtual off-road racing series competition. However, he's having trouble getting by Crystal King, and the passing zones here at Crandon honestly are few and far between, Evan, unless you're willing to really get the bumper out and possibly be a little too aggressive through some of these corners. You kind of have to wait for a mistake to come out, or you kind of have to wait for a corner like they're coming up to now. The hard braking zones of the hairpins really is the places to make moves here.
And Irvin smacked the wall on the outside there. That's a tricky corner where if you don't get that truck kind of yawed out over the jump and lined up to kind of cut through 6 there, you're going to get washed wide, and either you're in the fence or you're going to have to downshift and give it a little bit more wheel to get it off the wall. And because of that, Crystal King's advantage going to grow about 5 times what it was last time, with the white flag in the air and 1 lap to go in race number 4 here in round 1. So Crystal King still ahead of Aiden Irvin, not out of the woods yet. Again, that striking distance still close enough that any sort of bobble out of the King camp means that Irvin's going to be right there. But aside from that, she should have a good chance at closing this one out as they head down the back.
She is going to go for it and be very defensive heading into this hairpin. As much defense as she could possibly give, not a ton of pressure behind by Aiden Irvine. And so far in this race, if we're not counting Nicholas Wellhouse moving through, he was the 9th seed, and Jamie Dunn, who could not compete, was the 8th seed. And then we have all of the higher seed, or all the lower seeds, excuse me, the faster drivers from qualifying going through into round number 2. And Crystal King, going up and over the jump through the final corner here, is looking to be another driver with the faster time in qualifying and the lower seed number to walk away with the win.
And easily executed there, and Irvin's going to be too far back to try anything as they come over one last jump in one of the tightest corners on the racetrack in 8. And Crystal King will continue that dominance for the higher ranked drivers. The number 4 seed beats out number 13 Aiden Irvin, and Crystal King getting set to take on the winner, Josh Edmondson, or Cohen Adder, a little bit later on. But for now, we'll jump over to the right side of the bracket, and lined up next, your next pair of 2 ready to go racing. It'll be John Binder and Josh Fox.
Josh Fox, the driver with that lane choice. Another driver choosing the left lane to be on the outside on this start. Drivers will get those revs up and they'll get the sign to go green, and they'll start racing down into turn number 1 off of the land rush start. Of course, Josh Fox, another competitor in the off-road championship series for Williams Esports, and Fox also a competitor in Racecraft Rallycross on Sundays as well in the Williams Esports camp. Green flag is out. They race down towards turn number 1, and it looks like a little bit bumpier on that right lane for John Binder, combined with a later start, is going to push Josh Fox to the lead here in race number 5 of round 1.
Yeah, the start didn't look bad for John Binder. I don't know if he got bogged down with the terrain there. They both took a very wide arc into the corner, which shows the experience, right? They could have hugged the right-hand side a lot more, but it would have made that ensuing corner much of a tighter radius. But I wonder if it was just maybe some sort of a struggle getting through the gears for Binder. It's not going to end up all that bad. Again, he's going to be within 4 truck lengths here as they come to take the green flag at the start-finish line and begin lap number 1 of 2. But again, this is a matchup where it's a number 3 seed versus a number 4 seed. You look at the times in practice, Binder about 2/3 of the way down the sheet. Josh Fox never put down a full time, so being a little bit cheeky and not letting us know what he's got in that truck tonight. But I just don't think you could afford, again, whatever the issue was on that land rush start, to give a number 3 seed the advantage like Fox is working with.
Some drivers not putting in a time in practice, and honestly, with not that much time in the session before we got started, not exactly blame them for not really putting down a time, but the drivers will race now their way through the middle portion of Crandon, and Josh Fox setting a solid gap. Fox was one of those drivers that we didn't honestly see much of him in the off-road world until this year when he went for the championship series, which with no iRacing Rallycross World Championship this season, we saw the likes of Josh Fox, we saw Tommy Makinen, a good amount of Rallycross names try and make their way into the off-road space. And Josh Fox was one of the drivers that qualified for the championship series and was able to get a win at Bark River, laid down a lot of solid results, and ended up with one of the best runs for the championship, and wasn't able to get it, but was within a fighting shot until just a couple of rounds left.
And watch it as they work on the final lap here. Binder's last lap, a 116 or 118, I should say, 0.3. The last lap for Fox, a 117.4, right? Those lap times by Fox right there on par with the number 2 seed Swain and the number 1 seed Connor Berry. So even if he had a good start, it's just going to be extremely difficult to compete with somebody who's consistently low in that 117 bracket. And Fox hasn't, again, because he had the jump, had to get uncomfortable. He hasn't had to, really push the truck. And when he can just, kind of lock in here, ride his line and run his race, Josh Fox can be very consistent.
And Fox will work his way to the end of this lap and will complete the 5th race of round number 1. 2 races left here in the opening round. We're getting ready to see Josh Edmondson versus Cohen Adder, and then we'll see Tom Grady versus Paul Mikolajczyk to round out the opening round. And of course, we'll have 4 races through round 2, 2 in the semifinals, and then of course, a head-to-head championship race with Josh Fox grabbing the win here in round number 1. That'll push him through to round 2, and we'll see if he'll face off against either Tom Grady or Paul Mikolajczyk. But now it's time to look right back to the starting line. 5th seed Josh Edmondson going up against the 12th seed Cohen Adder. And at the grid right now, Evan, another choice of lane choice to go to the outside of the opening corner. That's Josh Edmondson with the lane choice with the higher seed, and I think that big bump there on the right side is what is deterring the drivers from taking that lane as we go green.
Oh, and it's going to be a slow start there for Cohen Adder as well. The whole shot by a large margin goes to Josh Edmondson, and he is already going to be well clear as they get this first half lap, if you will, underway. That right-hander, turn number 5, of course, over the barn turn here. Left-hander, 6, keep it off of the wall. And I mean, for Cohen Adder, not a terrible start, but I mean, just again, what we've seen is that when we get off the line together, right, in the King matchup with Irvin, they're going to race together for at least a lap before somebody's able to establish dominance. I think your start tonight may be more critical than your end lap time.
I'm seeing that same exact thing, and what we're seeing with Josh Edmondson, especially here, though, is that they can keep him reeled in. I think, like you mentioned, if they come off the line together, at least for one lap, they're going to run together on the racetrack. I mean, we're seeing some solid speed from Cohen Adder. He's able to keep about the same gap between himself and Edmondson. He's just not able to fully make it up on the track with the amount of time they have in this race. It's only 2 laps, which gives limited time for a mistake, but we just saw one from Edmondson there. He went way wide at the tree turn and hit the outside wall. That might have given Cohen Adder a bit of new lifeblood. He is now very close to the 58. One more mistake from Edmondson and we could see our first pass of the night.
And I'll tell you what, Edmondson needs to be very fortunate that he did not roll over that truck. When it went wide into 4, he hiked it up on the right side, and that thing almost went over, right? This is what we haven't seen out of drivers who have been able to get the whole shot, is they haven't necessarily had to push, right? Even those impressive low 117s that I keep referencing, those are still about half a second to 4/10 slower than the very best lap times we saw during the practice session. So there's more. You don't need to drive it into the corner that hard, and I don't think Josh necessarily needed to either as the white flag is in the air. I think just got a little bit greedy with it and again got the heart rate pumping. Maybe Cohen Adder thought, hey, I got a chance at this thing, but the pace between them, I just don't think Cohen's going to get there unless there's another big mistake. But I wonder how much in his head is Josh Edmondson going to be looking to navigate turn 4 this time.
Edmondson hard on the brakes down into this corner. He stalls it out a little bit in the middle, but gets that exit off as well. Edmondson was one of the drivers again in the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series, and he was very close to competing for a championship. Could not buy a shred of luck through the series, and same things that we've seen in league competition from him as well in the virtual off-road racing series. Just could not get any luck on the track, and that combined with a couple of bad finishes here and there did lead to him ultimately finishing 3rd in the first ever season of the World Championship. He could not have asked for much more as Edmondson will work his way through the final hairpin, and up and across the Polaris RZR jump and through the final corner here at Crandon. We get ready for one final race of round number 1 as Josh Edmondson will push himself through into round 2. Cohen Adder has been eliminated, as this now will set us up for the final race of round number 1. And we see Thomas Grady on the grid. He is the 6th seed against Paul Mikolajczyk, who is the 11th seed. Tom Grady this time gonna choose the right lane and have the inside track into the first corner. Let's see if it'll do enough for Thomas Grady as we go racing here. Grady 6th seed, Mikolajczyk 11th seed, and Grady on the inside. A lot of bumps there in that lane, but it looks like it will work for the Legion Speed Sport entry, but they both get off the line relatively the same, and they are bumper to bumper as they go over the first couple of jumps, but a hard hit to the ground for Paul Mikolajczyk. That's going to move him back a couple of inches.
Almost landed on top of Tom Grady in front of him, but Mikolajczyk stays in the gas, and he's only going to be about a truck length and a half off through the left-hander in turn number 7. So again, the control car inside or outside able to win the whole shot. I think it has more to do with can you get to the left, right? Can you get closer to the racing surface to avoid those bumps rather than what lane you're necessarily in. But as we get underway here for this final race in round number 1, Grady's got an early upper hand. Now let's see if Mikolajczyk can be the first driver to pull an upset tonight. We have yet to see the lower seed take home a win here in the opening round.
We've also yet to see any passes be made after that opening corner, and Mikolajczyk is keeping Grady honest and is going to try and look to the inside through the hairpin. Gets so close, but that momentum on the outside line is going to be enough for Grady to hold that lead. How about this one? This is going to be a nail-biter as they come to the white flag this time by. And who is going to walk away with this win? The winner will face Josh Fox, the 3rd seed from qualifying in the second round, in the final race of that second round. And as Mikolajczyk hits the dirt, he's got a little bit more ground to make up as Grady continues to pull away.
Grady still has the advantage here, but I'll tell you what, this is the closest we've seen anybody at the end of lap number 1, pretty on par with what we saw at a King and Irvin in that 3rd matchup from the left-hand side of the bracket. So the white flag is in the air, and Mikolajczyk is still very much in this race, but I'll tell you what, that was a real good run out of 8 across the start-finish line and through one of the most technical parts of the racetrack here. 1-2 now, left-hander 3, a significant advantage gained there by Grady, pushing it from about 3 truck lengths to maybe 5 or 6 as we head back down to the tricky turn 4.
What can they do through this turn? And Mikolajczyk sends it in deep. He doesn't have enough momentum. What that did was close the gap a little bit, but Mikolajczyk just with not enough momentum to make it fully work. They continue to fight now through the last couple of corners, but I think it might be all said and done for Thomas Grady, another one of the championship series drivers, and moving into round number 2, another higher seed as Mikolajczyk gets on 2 wheels.
Hiking it up on 2, knowing that he's got to force the issue, and it was the same corner that he really lost his advantage on the initial whole start of the race. First time he landed rough, that time he nearly clipped the Jersey barrier, pushing to trying to find a little bit extra, but it is not going to be enough, and it's all Tom Grady to the final corner.
Mikolajczyk is going to flip it over at the final corner. He's able to get it back onto the track, but Paul Mikolajczyk has been eliminated. Thomas Grady advances to round 2 that we are getting ready to kick off now. It's Connor Berry versus Nicholas Wellhouse in the first race, then Keaton Swain versus Nicholas Dashley, Crystal King versus Josh Edmondson, and Josh Fox versus Tom Grady. It's time for the first race of round number 2. We've got Connor Berry with lane choice, the higher seed from qualifying, and then Nicholas Wellhouse. He was the 9th seed in qualifying and the only driver that had a lower seed than their opponent to move into round 2. However, Nicholas Wellhouse has not been on the track tonight with their opponent in round 1 failing to take the green flag. So this is Wellhouse first time on the track and first time that we have seen the lower seed get a better start. For the first time, lane choice did not rule king, as to the lead goes Nicholas Wellhouse over the champion of the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series.
And now you have to see how well is Wellhouse, no pun intended, gonna manage this pressure, right? He has that #1 seed behind him, and he has the least amount of laps on this racetrack tonight compared to anybody else who has been able to advance here to round number 2. You know Barry's gonna keep the pressure on, looking to the inside in turn number 8, and he's gonna park it right there on the right rear quarter panel. Shaking it off for the moment is Nicholas Wellhouse, but how long can you withstand this pressure from one of the very best? Barry searching again and nearly hiked it up there on the inside.
Back to the bottom goes Connor Barry, looking for that race lead. He's not going to be able to take it though. Barry giving a ton of pressure. There's the move to the bottom. He dives it in deep. Can he park it on the entry? Yes, he can, but it's not going to be enough. A beautiful move to the inside for Nicholas Wellhouse in the 18 is going to keep him in the lead. Barry tried his signature park it at the apex and try and use the bumper to block, but the 18 holds the lead. Barry gonna get desperate as the white flag is gonna be up this time, side by side, as they work their way through the corner, and still to the race lead is Wellhouse.
Wellhouse still on the race lead, but Connor Barry getting more physical by the moment. He'll try it again into turn number 7, slides in front, parks the bus, but again, it's a good counter, and Wellhouse finds his way back alongside, but here's going to be the difference maker. Really tight, turn number 8, it's going to heavily favor the inside. Barry's got a nose in front, but they are still door to door with 1 lap to go.
Barry back to the lead. The first time we have seen a pass in this race tonight. And to the inside again goes the 18. He's going to get physical with the champion. Side by side down the straightaway. The 18 just going to have to give way as Connor Barry tries to pull away now. What can Nicholas Wellhouse do through the tree turn? He's going to lose a bit of ground as he went a little bit too far to the outside. But this was way closer than I think we expected, Evan. The champion of iRacing Off-Road almost being beat there. I think that might have had him sweating a little bit.
And I think that Wellhouse had an opportunity to get back to him, right, to pay back that physicality, and maybe it's not done yet because that was a bit of a wide corner from Connor Barry, and Wellhouse within 3 truck lengths. There's gonna need to be contact if he wants to get there. Barry just trying to get deep into the corners to avoid that, and it's all gonna come down to the final braking zone.
They send their way down into the final corner. Connor Barry looks for the checkered flag, and he will get it. Barry is going to win and move on to the semifinal round, and he'll face either Crystal King or Josh Edmondson, but that one got very, very close, and that was a proper race to the checkered flag. Keaton Swain versus Nicholas Dachelet now here in round number 2. Swain with the lane choice being the lower seed, and he chooses that inside lane as well. Maybe saw the last race, saw the advantage it gave the number 18, and we are underway. And that is a big run to the outside for Nicholas Dachelet, and he is going to take the early lead. So again, the lower seed coming into this round pulls away with the early race lead.
And talk about the pressure that your very top 2 drivers in this bracket challenge have to face early. Barry was able to come back, eventually get the race win from Nicholas Wellhouse, but this is going to be an equally as difficult challenge for Keaton Swain as he tries to chase down the number 7 seed in Dachelet. It's only going to be a truck length, a long way to go, with 2 laps to go this time by. Already Swain looking to the inside. Now, Barry got physical really quick in his round 2 matchup. Curious to see what the approach is going to be here for Keaton Swain.
Swain gonna try and dive it to the inside. It'll be quick to turn inside to outside. Swain tries to look to the bottom. Can't get there in time. Same thing we saw in the last race. It was Connor Berry in this exact same spot for Swain. Does he get desperate into the hairpin? He's going to outbrake himself. Almost loses the truck. Able to save it by the apex. But the 23 continues to lead. What a run right now for Nicholas Dachelet as he continues to run away from Keaton Swain, but Swain keeping him honest in the number 21.
He is all over him here now for the tricky left-hand sweeper through 6 on the inside. Keaton Swain goes to the head-to-head lead, but crossing back over to the inside. Dachelet saw it coming perfectly, cut back underneath. Swain's going to try to squeeze him out now in turn number 7, and on the outside, he's now clear for the top spot.
Keaton Swain back to the front in race number 2 of round 2. The winner of this race will face either Josh Fox or Tom Grady. With the white flag being out, Keaton Swain is going to try and play defense now against Dachelet. What can Dachelet do? The number 23 Legion Speed Sport Pro 4 trying to get by Swain, but he goes wide at the exit of that corner, gives Swain a couple more feet of room.
And now you're into the position where Dachelet is going to need some help here. I don't think that's a surmountable margin on his own. Drives it in aggressively to the inside, but again, that is effective defensive driving that you see there by just going deep into the corner on behalf of Keaton Swain, making sure that Dachelet cannot get to you. Do not let him get to the bumper, get to your inside, make contact with you, and this thing has really now blown itself wide open in lap 2.
Keaton Swain through the final couple of corners is looking to walk away with a spot in the semifinals. He'll continue his march through this bracket and continue to possibly be on a mission to face Connor Berry in the final round. What's going to happen if the two main contenders in the championship for the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series go head-to-head in the bracket challenge? Across the line for Keaton Swain, and he is going to walk away with the win. And now we've got 2 names into the semifinals, and both of them very, very familiar names in iRacing Off-Road. Now it's time for the race number 3 of round 2. Crystal King with the higher seed. She'll choose the inside
early advantage, but don't think that Crystal King is going to go down without a fight. Swings it wide. It gets into Edmondson. Contact between your number 4 and 5 seed. Inside going to be really beneficial here, though, to Edmondson. And the 58 truck almost all the way clear, and now does have sole control of the top spot.
Edmondson to the lead, but King is not done. That 278 made a look to the inside there. She'll make another look, but it's not going to be enough to get there into the side of the number 58. Into the hairpin here. This is where King might be able to make some sort of move if she goes aggressive to the inside. We
do it again, leaning on the quarter panel. Turn number 8, coming to the start-finish line. White flag in the air. One more lap to go in the closest race we have seen tonight. 4 seed, 5 seed, looking for a trip to the semifinals.
Can King get around Edmondson? Remember the last time they came down into this hairpin, it got close. Will it be close again? Edmondson gonna put a solid gap over King down the straightaway. Does she have enough room to go for the move? She tries it. She's gonna slide into the 58, but she slides out a little bit too much. She will get closer to Edmondson, but the move can't be made there. Can the move be made before the end of the lap? White flag was taken when they came across the start-finish line. Now Edmondson gonna try and protect as much as he can for the win here in the 3rd race of round number 2. Who's gonna walk away with this win as they complete the lap? Final couple of corners now. Josh Fox and Tom Grady on deck for the final race of round 2. Who's gonna make it to the semis? King looks to the bottom. They're gonna touch again, side by side, as they try and come to the line. Over the jump, King's gonna have to surrender. One final push for the 278. She'll get to the inside, side by side. inside in a drag race to the line, but Edmondson by half a truck moves on to the Legion Speed Sport entry of Thomas Grady. And now Fox with a big dive to the inside. Grady goes wide off the exit of that first jump and into the entry of this long sweeping corner. Now as they go down the hill through the dirt, who is going to walk away with the lead when they cross the start finish line this time to take the green flag in the first of 2 laps? Josh Fox is going to hold him off, but over the jump, Grady's not giving up.
Now, Grady's not going to roll over it. We saw this tenacity in that round number 1 matchup against Paul Mikalojic, who was all over him there. But of course, Fox, the number 3 seed, great.
White flag this time by. Who's going to walk away with this win?
And after losing a whole shot, I would consider that a mission accomplished if you're Tom Grady through the end of lap number 1. You just wanted to keep the 12 there, and now you've got options. Are you going to put all your eggs in one basket? Is this going to come down to a move in turn number 4? Or is it going to happen at the back end of the racetrack where things get really slow in 7 and 8? I think this is the best passing opportunity, but a little bit too far back. Not the run off of 3 that he needed. He's going to go for it, though. Grady slides to the inside and right in front of the entry of Josh Fox. What a drive. And now Grady goes race leader to turn 5.
What a move by Tom Grady to get that spot away from Josh Fox. This is not done. We know how aggressive Fox can be. The Williams driver trying to look to the inside. He's going to slide. Contact made between the two. Fox versus Grady. Fox is going to get physical, and he will take that spot away from Tom Grady. Through the final couple of corners, Grady looks back to the inside. This is setting up to be another side-by-side finish, as now Grady gives a hip check to the 12 of Josh Fox into the final corner. Who's gonna grab this win? Grady outside, Fox on the inside. The inside line is going to prevail, and Josh Fox will advance to the semis.
A great job by Fox to be able to fight back, get to the lead in 6, and allow that challenge from Grady to get underneath him in 7. He knew Joshua that was going to mean he had the preferred corner headed to turn number 8, and despite the best efforts of Grady, it was closed out by Josh Fox, and your top seeds now find themselves late in this one. It'll start with Connor Berry lined up, ready to go head-to-head in semifinal race number 1 with Josh Edmondson, your 1 seed and your 5 seed.
This is going to be a really exciting race as they take the green flag. First race of the semifinals round. And Edmondson with a big lead over Connor Berry. But this is rinse and repeat of the last time we saw Berry on this track in the opening race of round 2. It was Connor Berry that kind of lagged back a little bit at the start and was able to rally back and get the spot. But that was against Nicholas Wellhouse, though, Evan. I don't know how well that's going to work against a driver that has more time in the sim than really anybody in this field, as well as the driver that maybe with a little bit more luck might have beaten Connor Berry for the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series championship.
And neither of these drivers could walk out of here victorious, but I think it says something that Edmondson's got the advantage to play with. Now, we saw Connor Berry last round. He showed us that he would not be afraid to be physical. He had no qualms about being cute, being the number 1 seed. He was going to fight, even if that meant driving through the truck behind. Look at that, little bit of a swipe that time in turn number 3 at the back bumper. They're just, again, trying to kill some of that momentum for Edmondson because this is the best passing opportunity on the racetrack. But it's only lap 1, and he's not going to go for that big dive bomb yet. And I think Edmondson was a little bit concerned about it. Not the most efficient corner, and the 2's going to be all over the back of him.
Here comes Connor Berry. White flag will be out this time by. This is going to get really, really exciting for the finish of this one. Here comes Berry to the inside. He'll give a shot to the 58. He pushes Edmondson into the wall, and Connor Berry, just like that, is making a run for the lead. He's not done. Edmondson on the outside, Berry on the inside. Edmondson goes wide in the number 58, and now give the spot to Connor Berry. He'll clear Edmondson over the jump. White flag this time by, and Edmondson's having to play a little bit of catch up. He'll look to the inside. Not going to be enough at the start finish.
And we know Edmondson had to go through a hard-fought battle with Crystal King, but there was a big mistake there. As that thing hiked up, he just got some of the concrete barriers on the inside of turn number 1, and it washed him out so much that it doubles the advantage. I think he's too far back for a slide job now and almost needs a mistake at a Connor Berry.
Edmondson now in the back seat as Connor Berry controls this race. He made it through round number 1 against Jason Bryant. He made it through round number 2 against Nicholas Wellhouse, and he's looking to make it through the semifinals against Josh Edmondson. Of course, both of these drivers, teammates as well at Jim Beaver Esports. Both of them have raced countless races on the iRacing service, whether it's league competition or whether it's world championship competition. And looking for this win and looking for a spot in the championship race, it is Connor Berry through the final couple of corners and over the final jump. It'll be the number 2 of Connor Berry, your iRacing Off-Road Championship Series champion, grabbing the win. He is our first advancee into the finals.
The number 1 seed has done his job. He has won the matchups in which he's been favorited in, and those last 2, King and Edmondson, both put up a good fight. But Connor Berry is where he deserves to be. Your top seed is in. And now we'll see, can Keaton Swain as the number 2 seed step up to the plate, or will it be Josh Fox as the 3 trying to steal it? No shock, it comes down to the top 3 seeds. Of course, those that made it to the semifinals ranked 1, 2, 3, and 5. I would not consider any win an upset at this point when you look at the talent level of who remains.
Josh Fox working his way over to the grid, and he is now there as Keaton Swain will be the one with lane choice. He lines up in the left lane outside of the opening corner. This is going to be very, very fun on who is going to walk away with this win. Winner will advance into the semifinal, or into the finals, off of the semifinals, and we are underway. Fox versus Swain, and it will be the big lead for Josh Fox off the start. Keaton Swain in second, lags way back in the 21, has got about a half a second to play with as Josh Fox pulling away in the second race of the semifinals. Will it be Berry versus Swain, the same story we saw through the championship series, or will it be Fox versus Berry, one of the newcomers to off-road fighting the champion?
And again, they fired at the same time, but Swain was just so slow. I wonder if it was just simply a more aggressive approach at the Josh Fox camp, a lower gear, something. Maybe Keaton Swain was too high in a gear. He was sitting there on the line for quite some time waiting on Josh Fox. But I mean, their reaction time was essentially identical. But just getting up to speed, Fox was so much quicker, and it's not enough to put this thing on ice, but it certainly means that he gets the advantage of playing from ahead. Now Swain within striking distance. Does he go for the slide job here on the opening lap of the race? In these semis, everybody's been waiting till lap 2 to get physical, and that's going to be true here as well. But Keaton Swain chipping away and chipping away. He should be still right there with him as we work to the end of lap number 1.
Fighting their way now as they will grab that white flag, this time by the start-finish line. We've seen it happen before, mainly through pretty much every one of our semifinal races. The pass came a little bit late. It came on that last lap. What can Swain do when they take the white flag as Josh Fox continues to be as aggressive as we're used to seeing that number 12 in the defense department and trying to hold the number 21 of Keaton Swain at bay? Through the hairpin, one final lap, and the 21 gives a shot to the 12, and there's the lead taken away from Fox. Keaton Swain grabs it away.
pick and chose that battle and did it in the slowest corner where it would have the most impact. But now it's fair game. Swain decided to dish out the contact first. He should expect Josh Fox to return it. But I don't know if Fox is quicker on the long run, so he might have to do it right here, right now. Sliding to the inside. Can't get in front. A small kiss to the left-hand side, but not enough. And now pulling away is Keaton Swain with a half a lap to go.
Keaton Swain now in control of this race, just like he was in round 1 against Danny H, just like he was in round 2 against Nicholas Chachelet. He looks for a spot in the final, the championship race, against his main rival from the championship series, Connor Berry. They race their way through the final couple of corners here at Crandon, and walking away with a spot in the final, it looks to be the 21. Can Josh Fox do anything with 1 corner to go? We've seen passes almost be made here, but Fox is not going to be close enough to do it. Keaton Swain is going to advance into the championship race.
And we talked about this possibility some hour ago when we took our first look at this Pro 4 bracket challenge. It will be the number 1 and the number 2 in the world for off-road racing. Connor Berry, Keaton Swain, head-to-head with everything on the line.
Everything on the line is exactly right, as Berry and Swain will go head to head in the championship race for the virtual off-road racing series bracket challenge. We'll get ready now for a bronze medal race to see who is going to walk away with a 3rd place spot at the end of this one. But Evan, as we get ready for that, this is going to be a really exciting final to watch. I mean, we saw all season long, it was Berry versus Swain for the championship, and now they're going head to head in this brand new space, and they didn't really get an opportunity to like really be aggressive with each other in the championship series. And I think tonight some aggression might be taken out.
I think it's a unique opportunity as well, but it goes to show that they could be 1-2. They can trade race wins on a world championship, right? In a Vors championship, but as well here in a bracket challenge. No matter what kind of arena these drivers are placed in, their talent will shine through. And it's no shock that it is going to be those two fighting, of course, for the championship here from Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. And on the flip side of that, you have the rest, right? Your other 2 competitors from the semifinals going to have an opportunity to race now and battle it out for that bronze medal here, side by side, lined up and ready to go, looking for the green flag. Berry on the inside. That's the left-hand side of your screen. Swain to the outside on the right, and it is a small advantage early for the 2, but Keaton Swain through the gears again, pulls way out in front.
Best 2 out of 3 in this championship, so we begin with the first of our championship races, and Keaton Swain has pulled away by a large margin against Connor Berry, but Connor Berry can reel that number 21 in. They'll take the official green flag, start the 2 laps, this time by the start finish, and this is just one race out of many that we will see here for the championship. Can Keaton Swain make quick work of this, win 2 in a row, or will Connor Berry have something to say about it? Green flags in the air, 2 laps remain in the first race of the championship.
And what Keaton's been able to do consistently all night long on those starts, losing out on the initial hole shot, but being able to pull clear and winning it in the end by the time he got down to 5 is such an advantage, right? Because you're able to dictate what happens in this race. Now we're not going to be seeing drivers on cruise control. They're going to be pushing. I'm expecting lap times down in the mid 116s. They're going to be doing about 3/4 of a second faster every single lap, despite the fact that this racetrack is more worn out compared to what we saw of these drivers in rounds number 1 and 2. They are pushing full tilt 110% right now, and Swain obviously wants to get that 1-0 advantage early.
And Keaton Swain with a solid gap now. This means that Connor Berry is going to have to be really, really aggressive if he wants to get this move done. But maybe Connor Berry might be thinking in the back of his mind, hey, I still have at least one more race left to contend with the 21, and if I win this next race, that will mean I just need one more as well. But we know Connor Berry always likes to lead, even when it's just one other driver that he's facing, and Berry gets aggressive to the inside. It's white flag this time. Berry is there. He had a nose in on the 21 of Swain. He wasn't able to do anything about it that time by. Berry was quicker in the last lap in terms of lap time, and Berry gives a big shot to the 21, goes for the crossover move, not enough to get him down the back straightaway.
And here's going to be his best opportunity. There's other options, right? 7's a possibility, 8's an option, but you get your most decisions here in 4. Sliding to the inside, through it, he parked it. Well done for Connor Berry, who executes the slide job and now takes a 3-truck length advantage on Keaton Swain, who had led for the opening lap and a half.
Connor Berry looks for that win. This will be his first race win of a possible 2 here in the championship. Best 2 out of 3 races for the championship round. And Connor Berry, through 2 more corners, is looking to walk away with the first checkered flag of this championship round. And Connor Berry up and over the Polaris RZR jump, exactly where he won the iRacing Off-Road Championship. He looks for the first win of the championship round. Keaton Swain comes back side by side, the photo finish, but it will be Connor Berry, first race win of the championship round.
And impressive stuff after getting the whole shot, but falling behind early. He executed it perfectly. Again, 4 isn't your only option, but it might be your best, right? There's so many different things that you can do. You can go for the slide job. You can go into somebody's door there. You can try to ring it around tight on the inside, and he executed it perfectly. And now that the gauntlet has been thrown, and you're going to see desperation moving forward from the second half of this championship battle, I think it's important to watch as we see now the bronze medal race underway, and the whole shot on the right-hand side of your screen, outside line for Josh Fox. So same as we saw in round 1 of the title fight, gets a big advantage.
That is going to be a massive advantage for the 12 of Josh Fox, but we saw how aggressive Josh Edmondson was during his races. Now, this is not part of the championship. This is a battle for 3rd place. This is the bronze medal race. The winner of this, only one race, will earn the 3rd place spot on the podium and the bronze medal here in the bracket challenge. Now, as they fight their way through the first couple of corners, and they'll take the official green flag to go 2 laps of racing here in the bronze medal race. It is a massive lead for Josh Fox, but we know how close Edmondson can get the gap down when they work their way through the middle sector. First time, Evan, that we're seeing a bit of track development as well. We saw through that first corner a little bit of glossing over, a little bit of blue groove starting to develop.
As I mentioned, right, we're going to see some of the best lap times out of these guys that we have seen all night long, and it's going to be ironic enough because the track conditions are going to be the worst that we have seen, right? Even despite those conditions, Connor Berry, for example, last race put on that 1:16.3. It is the fastest lap we have seen out of anybody all night long. So the track is changing, but it doesn't mean that the racetrack has gone away, right? You might have to reposition yourself a little bit in certain corners. You can see all of the marbles off to the side of the racetrack, both here in turn 6, also prior in 5. So you do have to modify your driving a tad, but it doesn't mean that it takes that oomph out of these trucks. And somebody who needs a little bit of extra oomph right now is Josh Edmondson. Fox only 2-3 truck lengths up the road within striking distance, but looking pretty comfortable right now as Edmondson swings and misses in 7.
So look for the white flag, this time by Williams Esports versus Jim Beaver Esports, and Williams is with the lead right now. Josh Fox in the 12 leads to the white flag lap, and what can Edmondson do? He ran the faster lap time last time by, a 1:16.351 versus the 1:16.729 that Josh Fox just put down. It's going to be a drag race down the back straightaway. A little bit of a mistake there for Josh Fox. He slid out, hit one of the outside berms, but through the hairpin. Here comes Edmondson to the inside. Can he park it at the apex? He can. Josh Fox keeps a little bit of momentum. Now they're side by side over the whoops, but Josh Edmondson is going to take the lead by about a half truck length. Here comes Fox to fight back on the inside, side by side as they come over the jump. Edmondson with the advantage as he slides it out.
And it was that late twitch out of the 12 of Josh Fox to not get square into the back end of Edmondson that means he's still in this race. If they make contact, he's probably 2 to 3 truck lengths further on down the road. Here he is on the inside in 7. Contact between them, side by side of the final corner. But the inside going to belong to Josh Edmondson. Is that going to be enough? Fox tries to pinch down. They stay clean. Nose to the line, and barely Edmondson wins for the bronze.
What a late charge by the 58 of Edmondson. He ends up 3rd best on the evening in the bracket challenge as we will get set for our 2nd championship race. This is the 2nd one, and if Barry wins this, he will walk away as your bracket challenge winner here in the championship round. He gets to choose yet again that lane choice. He'll choose the right lane, which will be, or the left lane, excuse me, the outside line going into this opening corner. Keaton Swain on the inside line in the right-hand side. Green flag is up, and Keaton Swain with another great start. Connor Barry, I think Evan might have Keaton Swain exactly where he wants him. However, the last 3 times we have seen Barry on the track, he has won from behind.
And maybe there's something in those slower starts, right? Not worried about trying to get the quick jump. I don't think there's any way that getting the whole shot can hurt. But, I mean, that's 2 times in a row that Keaton Swain, doesn't matter if he's on the inside or the outside, he is good at getting that truck fired off. But you're right, Connor Barry is the one that everyone's going to be looking at. He's the #1 seed. He's the one that's up 1-0 in this best of 3. If Swain wins this race, we'll be forced to the tiebreaker. Only Barry can win it all right here, right now. Took a bit of a peek that time in turn number 8, but Keaton Swain's doing a good job of minding the gap, but there's no way that he'll be able to just simply drive away far enough from Connor Barry so that Barry has no options, and that means that you've always got to be looking, especially here in the run down to turn 4.
Remember, if Barry wins this race, he will be your champion of the bracket challenge. Sliding into the corner goes Barry. He won't make the move on Swain yet. Keaton Swain in the 21 will hold the race lead as they dive their way down the back straightaway and into the right-hander once again. Swain leads by about 3 truck lengths. Here comes Connor Barry to fight back. It'll be white flag this time by. If Swain gets this win, it'll be 1 versus 1 in a 3rd race. But we know Connor Barry does not want it to go much further. He wants to win this one as well and be undefeated in the bracket challenge. White flag this time as they come over the Polaris RCR jump and through the final corner at Crandon. You can see Barry starting to get restless. He looks to the inside as they come over the start-finish line.
And Barry can take a big swing at it. Remember, Swain might have to be a little bit nervous here going for the defensive because this could be the last lap of the night for Keaton Swain. Barry knows that he can live to fight another day. Slow turn 3 all the way down to 32 miles an hour. And then they're going to have to get all the way up to top gear and the high-speed run down to 4. This is where the consequential move happened in race number 1, but it's not going to happen here in championship race 2. No dive bomb. Barry, though, still takes a good run off, and the difference is 1 truck length headed to the barn.
Who is going to win this one? Barry is going to have to get desperate here if he wants this championship round to be finished here. Swain slams the dirt. Barry right on the back bumper. They are nose to nose as they come over the jump. It'll be 1 hairpin, a jump, then the final corner before the start finish. The dive to the inside for Barry. Touch to the grass and perfect Perfectly done. The 2 of Connor Berry goes for the race lead. Side by side, Swain with the inside advantage coming over the jump. Can Berry have the lead by the start finish? He dives to the bottom, gets physical, and across the line, the photo finish. But Connor Berry has done it. He is your bracket challenge winner.
And what experience and what a finish. Knew that he did not have to make the desperate move down in 4, stuck with him, executed it well as they came through turn number 7, and that whole time he knew that the inside belonged to Swain, that he would not be able to win it around the outside. So as they went into turn number 8, took that wide arc in, cut right underneath, touched him once, drag race to the line, and by about half a foot in an incredible effort, the win and the bracket challenge championship belongs to the number 1 in the world. What a drive and what another accomplishment notched in the belt of Connor Berry.
What a night for the 2. He walks away with the first ever Virtual Off-Road Racing Series Bracket Challenge win. What a night it was. And of course, we still have the awards that we mentioned earlier on, and we have a few of the winners for that one. The winner of the Best Battle Award by AMX iRacing will go to Thomas Grady versus Josh Fox for their battle that they had in the final race of round number 2. And then your Just a Trim Lawn Service Grass Cutter Award is going to go to Paul Mikolajczyk. The 2 winners of our Best Battle Awards will each receive $10, with the Grass Cutter Award winner receiving $20. Well, I say, Evan, we don't waste any time by talking to our drivers at the end of this one, and we'll get started with who was the champion of the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series and is now the first ever winner of the Bracket Challenge. It is Connor Berry. And Connor, it was in a photo finish that you got that one done, but ultimately you were able to walk away with it. You are now the first ever winner of the Virtual Off-Road Racing Series Bracket Challenge. Congratulations.
Guys, yeah, that was a pretty awesome event. I knew that it was going to be tough to win that, and I mean, Swain is fast, so I knew it's going to take everything, and I knew it had to be clean. My starts were pretty bad. I for sure need to put some work into those, but I was able to get back to his bumper and get some pretty good passes done to get the win.
And talk about this event, of course, being put together as a precursor to the Virtual Off-Road Racing Series season, but I mean, just a great time to come out here in a very unique way. We have never seen these off-road trucks go battling kind of one-on-one like this instead of, you know, naturally in a race. So how exciting was it to get out there? And I mean, you versed from the start Jason Bryant, Nicholas Wellhouse, Josh Edmondson, and Keaton Swain, especially those last 2 opponents being real tough on you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's for sure like something new. I'm more of a guy who likes to use all of the 12-lap main events to get my passes done. So I knew I had to change how I drove. I needed to be more aggressive on how quick I get up to speed. So I was able to get up to speed, and I knew that Josh was also going to be tough to pass, but I was able to find a pretty good move. And yeah, I mean, Swain, he's good and he is fast, so it definitely was tough, but I'm glad I was able to find a move and learn how to make a pass pretty quick, because we only had 2 laps on track compared to 12, so Now I know how to make a move quick going into this next Pro 4 Vors championship.
With the Pro 4 Championship on the horizon as well, you're going for yet another championship. Can you make it happen in the Pro 4s? You were able to make it happen the last season of Virtual Off-Road Racing Series competition and, of course, the iRacing Off-Road Championship Series.
I hope so. I haven't ever gone back to back before, so if I could just win the Warzone championship, that would be a huge accomplishment for me in just all ways. So I'm gonna put in tons of work for that, and hopefully it goes to plan.
We know so many people make everything possible for you, Connor. Who do you have to give a shout out to tonight?
Sure, I want to give a big thanks to Jim Beaver Esports, BBR, General Tire, Positive Beverage, Josh for putting on this event, and all of you guys for this stream.
And thank you very much for your time tonight. That is Connor Berry, your winner of the first ever virtual off-road racing series bracket challenge. And we transition over to the runner-up of that championship, Keaton Swain. Evan, you're standing by with him now.
It's a good showing for Keaton Swain all the way to the championship race in this one, and P2 overall in the bracket challenge. So first and foremost, congratulations on that, Keaton. Tell us about the battle at the end there with Connor. You had your number 21 truck in the lead at times at both of those two championship races. A lot of physicality, a lot of great racing, just came up a little bit short.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. First off, got to thank Josh and all the people that helped him out, that put this event on. It's nice to switch things up a little bit. So other than that, though, me and Connor had some good battles there. Took me a little bit, couple of rounds to figure out how to get the start dialed in. It was a lot slicker than normal, but honestly, I think it almost might have been an advantage to be the guy in second, in this type of racing, because you don't have to worry about someone behind you when you're in second. You can force the guy in front to run protective lines, and I think that's ultimately what might have bit me there. But overall, it was a lot of fun.
Seemed like on the starts, you were able to really figure something out inside or outside. What was that land rush like, not having 8 other trucks alongside you, where you could be a little bit more methodical on what you wanted to do?
Yeah, it was a lot different, and we were a little bit more far forward, and I don't know if that has something to do with it, but it was a lot slicker, so you had to be really smart on your shifting points and how easy you were on the throttle. But I got a couple good starts on either lane. Didn't seem like one played into favor at all, but it's a lot different without 10 trucks lined up across there.
Overall, we've seen you find success in many different disciplines and formats here in the off-road world on iRacing. What were your thoughts on what I'm sure was the first doing a head-to-head bracket challenge like this?
I thought it was great. I'm all for this, switching things up a little bit. It gets a little tiring after a while, just running and practicing or leagues and big events and whatnot. So to take a little break from that and come out and have some fun in a bracket challenge like this was a lot of fun. And hopefully Josh will do something more like this, and we can battle it out more.
And certainly looking forward to seeing all those battles that are come between you and the rest of the competitors here as we go deeper into 2022 here, and Virtual Off-Road Racing Series action returns. But at least for tonight, a runner-up finish in the bracket challenge. Keaton, who do you want to say hi to?
I just got to thank Appliance Parts Company, Factory Sim Sport, Shenandoah Shine, ZK Designs, Sim Coach Pedals, everyone that helped put this event on for Josh, and of course you guys for doing the broadcast.
We appreciate you participating in this one and putting on a show. It really was a treat to watch from up here. So congrats again on the P2 finish, and looking forward to seeing what's next for you.
Thanks.
It's your P2 finisher tonight, runner-up in that championship race. It's a good night for the 2 seed of Keaton Swain.
And we continue on now with our bronze medalist, Josh Edmondson, Josh, you walked away with that bronze medal, of course, but I know you wanted to get into that championship final, but unfortunately that semifinal battle with with Connor Berry ended up pushing you into the consolation.
Yeah, that was a good battle. I really screwed that up on my own there. When Connor got by me, I hit the wall after the finish line, and then he was able to get a gap, and I just wasn't able to do anything about it. So yeah, that good run to him and good win. Obviously, we all know how fast Connor is, so that was okay. The third place though was good. That battle with Josh Fox was a lot of fun, and I'm pretty stoked to come away with third.
And of course, talk about putting together this entire bracket challenge format, because it, for first of its kind, at least to our knowledge, in the off-road scene of iRacing, and as a precursor to the virtual off-road racing series, just getting everybody together back into the Pro 4s, especially off the heels of such a successful championship series.
Yeah, that's it. We wanted to do something, with all the hype around the Pro 4 series, and we were all kind of watching Nitro Rallycross last year and saw the battle brackets they were doing in the heats, and we're like, man, that would be a lot of fun. And we've done 3-lap shootouts for fun on the sim and here at Crandon, and we all kind of agreed, let's get together and put on a fun event like that. And I think it turned out pretty well. It seemed like there were some good battles, so hopefully we can do it again.
We know so many people make everything possible for you, Josh. Who do you have to give a shout out to tonight for the bracket challenge?
Just all the sponsors, everybody that helped out, AMX, Shenandoah Shine, Just a Trim, obviously Next Level Racing. Those guys help me out a lot too personally, and then everybody else that helps me, Jim Beaver Esports, Pimax VR, Apex Gaming PCs, and everybody else showed up to have some fun tonight. It was great.
And thank you for your time here in the post race. That's Josh Edmondson, your bronze medalist of the bracket challenge tonight. And as we wrap things up here from the virtual Crandon International Raceway, we do have a winner along with your AMX iRacing Best Battle Award going to Tom Grady and Josh Fox. The Just a Trim Lawn Service Grass Cutter Award going to Paul Mikolajczyk. And now the Best Paint Award with Fitz Photos going to Nicholas Dachelet. Winner receiving for the Fitz Photos Best Paint Award, 5 free sim photos from Fitz Photos. Well, Evan, we've been mentioning it, the brand new season of the virtual off-road racing series Pro 4 schedule. And we have it here, October 5th. We get started from virtual Bark River. We go to Crandon, then to Wild West and Wild Horse Pass for the single dips into both of those tracks. Then we finish off in the month of December with Bark River and Crandon again. Yet another series where we're going to crown a champion at the Crandon International Raceway. And 2 of the driver and fan favorite tracks getting 2 stops on the calendar.
It's going to be a great calendar. Of course, you're going to get all 4 of the various off-road racing tracks on that calendar. And my favorite part is always when you get to see a combination like a Bark River and like a Crandon early, right? That's where this championship picture is going to start to form. And then we're going to go right back to those same tracks in order for rounds number 5 and round 6. And then we look to see over the course of October to December through this championship, what's changed? Have drivers learned something new at Bark River? Has the gap closed? How does that December 7th race compare to the October 5th? And then when it all comes down to the championship, how similar is that December 14th race compared to what we'll see on October the 19th? That first half of the year could be a preview of what's to happen in the second half.
And of course, every race can be found right here live on Racecraft TV, starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on October the 5th, 19th, November 2nd and 9th, and December 7th and 14th, as we will crown another virtual off-road racing series Pro 4 champion. Well, that'll do it for us here in the bracket challenge from virtual Crandon. And for everybody at the virtual off-road racing series and at Racecraft TV, and for my colleague in the booth, Evan Pasoko, my name is Joshua Lee. We thank you for tuning in to the virtual off-road racing series bracket challenge, and congratulations to Connor Berry. The champion continues his reign. Will it be the same when we go racing in the virtual off-road racing series Pro 4 calendar? But for now, we're saying good night from virtual Crandon.